What is going on? Hi. We're going to go for a little mood lighting here, okay? As you can tell by my glasses, I've got a little bit of Cliff's Notes here, but welcome to the breakdown. Week 1, 2022 NFL season. Holy Jesus Christ. I mean, what a clusterfuck, right? What an absolute, clusterfuck of what the fuck are we looking at? We're going to go down the list. I'm going to talk about the teams that I'm quite interested in. I'm not going stats and all this shit. I'm just going to go for what I've seen on for games I wasn't able to watch. Obviously, my 4 teams, as I said, I was going to be really focusing on a lot more. And we're just going to kind of test and kind of work the waters throughout the season. So, week 1, first game, Bills and Rams. Thursday night football game, season opener. Dude, okay, first of all, the Bills' first half was rough, okay? Josh Allen didn't look amazing. He looked good, but he didn't look amazing. The team as a whole was kind of like, eh? Like, I even put up a post up on Facebook on my personal profile basically stating, hey, he's showing these MVP stats, right? He's showing this MVP. I'm going to try to move this over here so you're not being blinded by my shit here. I guess I'm just going to have to fix this because this is stupid. I don't know why this shit does this every fucking time, okay? This is dumb. Every time. Watch this here. Fix it that way, right? Fix it that way. It's best we got. So, anyway. So, yeah. I mean, the Bills looked semi-rough in the first half, okay? The Rams throughout the entire fucking game. Like, they had a bit of spark in the first half, but just looked absolutely fucking rough and piss poor in the second half. It really came down to some blown coverages, just persistent play from the Bills, and the Rams' offensive line losing one dude. That line looks completely different. Okay, one man retires, and it's like that whole fucking offensive unit. Literally looks completely changed at the line. I don't know what the fuck, but man, it's rough. Okay, goddamn rough. Just goddamn. So that's my assessment of that one. The Rams had better tighten up that fucking O-line if they're going to do anything whatsoever with that shit, okay? Christ. So the Eagles and the Lions. Here's what I'm going to take away from this, okay? I'm very surprised with the Lions play. The Eagles, I've got expectations for them to be pretty decent this season as far as their division goes, but we're also talking about the fucking NFC East, and come on, we got the fucking Commanders, we got the fucking Eagles, we got the Cowboys, and we got I can't even remember what the other fucking team is now. The Giants. That entire fucking division is an absolute toss-up, okay? Like, not now, not after this fucking week, but prior to the season starting, that was just a toss-up of which team was going to be the least shitty. Out of the group, I was looking at either the Commanders or the Eagles, but Carson Wentz is just entirely he's too erratic to really count on. I mean, the Colts even saw that last season and went, nah, bro, you gotta go. But the Lions showed a lot of fucking spark in this game, and that is something to really kind of think about. Is it going to last? I don't know. I really don't. The Lions have been such an erratic organization since Megatron retired. Because, when you had Stafford and Megatron, it really didn't matter how bad the team was, because at least they could try to get you to the playoffs. But that, once Megatron retired, that team just fell the fuck apart, and they've never really been a stable organization. So, God only knows. So, I guess the positive takeaway is the Eagles are right where I thought they were. The Lions are far and away way better than I thought they were, but the Eagles aren't like an amazing team, in my personal opinion, at this point. I think they have a lot of proof a lot to prove against the rest of the NFC towards the backstretch of the season to really see just where they sit. So we'll see. 49ers at Bears, wet, soggy. I mean, like they were literally squeegeeing that, that fucking god awful field, and it was piss poor. No pun intended. What I take away is this: the Bears are exactly what I expected they were going to be. Low scoring, defensive, just running the ball all over the place, chucking it here and there, but not really an amazing offense, sadly. The 49ers, George Kittle has a groin injury. Big problem right there, because that's like between Kittle and Debo, that's like their team, okay? And that's no knock against the rest of their team, but that's really their biggest playmakers is Kittle and Debo Samuels. And Debo was like it because Kittle was out with a groin injury. So here we go looking at Trey Lance, and oh my God, man, the preseason fucking hype and down. Yeah, this was not an amazing performance. He had a few flutters of good, but I don't want to hear anything about, old, fucking bad weather, wet ball, dry, whatever. I don't fucking care, okay? You're fucking paid a lot of money to do a fucking job. And all I'm going to say right now is that I don't think that they should throw in the towel on Trey Lance, because the kid's got to have a fucking chance to prove if he's worth a fuck or not. But at the same time, boy, they better be really happy they kept Jimmy Garoppolo if Trey Lance's trend goes in the direction that it went with this game. Because at least Garoppolo was productive with the offense. And that offense, I've said it time and time again, that those Kyle Shanahan offenses, they don't require heavy QB intervention, okay? Like, all you need to do is make sure not to turn the fucking ball over and let Shanahan's running game really kind of dictate what the fuck is going on. And use the play action for some good crossing routes and short dump routes to really kind of break away and keep defenses honest towards the run game. And then you can get some good shit going. Right now, when you have a really wonky fucking semi-inaccurate quarterback, I don't know what to fucking say, man. It's rough. So into my first game of interest of one of my favorite teams, the Steelers at the Bengals. Now, this was fucking ugly. Okay, first of all, the Bengals went out and supposedly fixed their offensive line. I think Burrow got sacked 7 fucking times. I'm not going to call that fixed. The Bengals just got the snot beat out of them. That being said, the Steelers, the fucking offense looks terrible. You've got Najee getting hurt. You got fucking TJ Watt getting hurt at the very end of the fucking game. Just multiple injuries, multiple bad injuries that could be a real problem for him. On top of it, after watching Trubisky in one game, it's time for Kenny Pickett to get his ass on behind that line, because Trubisky is a terrible fucking starter. He was fucking horrible with the Bears, which is why he got benched to begin with. And he just, he's not good. He's really, like, all the hype for him coming out of college. Trubisky looks like a really tall, goofy version of Kyler Murray. You shake him a little and he can't get anything done. The problem is he didn't even get shook that bad and he couldn't get anything done. And it's not like there are no weapons on the Steelers offense. So, yeah, the Steelers offense looked terrible. Truthfully, they've now been whacked with a shitload of week 1 fucking injuries, which is not good. And the Bengals just look like shit. Okay? Now, granted, the game was close, which, by the way, I didn't read the scores. Bills Rams 31-10, Eagles Lions 38-35, and then the 49ers Bears. Bears won 19-10 over the 49ers. And then the Steelers were winning 23-20 over the Bengals. Now, the Bengals did make a solid attempt at staying ahead of that, or catching back up and getting ahead of it, and the Steelers just came back at the end with a field goal and said, fuck off. That's just what it was. Got a lot of concerns for the Steelers if they stick with Trubisky. That, and with their injuries, man, this may be Mike Tomlin's fucking first year of a losing season. I don't like Trubisky as their quarterback. It's a terrible choice. I think it's an absolutely terrible choice. Next game, Patriots Dolphins. Patriots Dolphins over the Patriots 20-7. No fucking shit. Look, man, you've got a really good game managing quarterback with Mac Jones. He's not I don't foresee Mac Jones to be this like superb, amazing quarterback, but he's a really savvy kind of fucking young kid. And it's not like the Patriots offense is devout of all fucking talent on their roster, right? Like the Patriots do have some talent on that roster. Where they lack talent is having an offensive coordinator, because you've got two defensive fucking coordinators calling plays. This is dumb. Okay, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the hell is going on in that organization, but it showed its ugly goddamn face in this game. Terrible game for the Patriots. The Tyreek had a good game with Miami, so I'm glad to see that. I do like Tyreek, although I think his arrogance is getting ahead of him a little bit, but it is what it is. It's whatever. But Tyreek was balling, so not mad at him, really not. And they did what they needed to do. Tyreek, I can't even remember the name of the other fucking player, the other receiver that they have. Hang on. Because the other guy, I think, had more yards than he did. Dolphins, motherfucker. Thank you. Jalen Waddle. And no, he didn't have. Tyreek was 8 for 94. Jalen Waddle was 4 for 69. And then Chase Edmonds was 4 for 40. So, and Tua, 23 of 33 for 270 and a touchdown. I mean, they won 20-7, so I mean, they obviously got the fucking job done, right? But I mean, the Patriots being this fucking, absolutely supposedly OP fucking defense, and I mean, they had Edmonds, Mostert, Waddle, Cedric Wilson, Tyreek Hill, Alec Ingold, and Tua all had runs. Now, Tua didn't gain any yards, but they had that many different people run against them. Okay. It was just like, eh? So, I mean, like the fourth quarter was like the most boring fourth quarter. Nobody scored. Nobody really did anything, but the game was completely out of reach at that point because the only time the Patriots scored was in the third quarter. So, it's whatever. It's fucking totally whatever. I don't care. It's exactly what I expected. Now here comes another interesting game, not one that I really gave a shit about, but interesting. The Browns at the Panthers. Baker Mayfield's attempt to take on the Browns. What I want to give kudos before I say anything else is Jacoby Brissett. Okay, he was asked in the day before pregame, BS that they always have to do with the quarterbacks. What do you think about Excuse me. Sorry, it's like 4 a.m. What do you think about this whole, Baker Mayfield coming in for revenge against his old team? And he's basically like, bro, I wasn't here. I don't give a fuck. I'm just here to play. Guess what he did? He fucking played. The Panthers tried to make a game of it, but the Browns ended up coming out on top 26-24. So a bit of a shocker game for me. The Colts at Texans, first tie of the season in week 1 of all things, 20-20. Truthfully, the Colts looked like ass in the first half. They really did. And like Matty Ice, I was expecting much more than that. I really was. The second half, they finally kind of got their shit together and they ended up tying the game, which is really terrible, honestly. But at least they didn't lose their first game, I guess, like some other teams. So that's something, but that may come back to bite them in the ass, especially with the division that they're in. That could really come back and bite them in the ass. Hopefully the Colts can cinch their shit up. The Texans doesn't really surprise me because honestly, as much as last year, as much as Davis Mills was really sketchy last year, he kind of got his legs under him towards the tail end of the season. I mean, he went 23 of 37 for 240 and 2 touchdowns. That's, I mean, bro, like Davis Mills looked good. Matt Ryan was 32 of 50 for 352 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Like, damn. Like, the Colts were so bad, okay? The Colts had 3 points in the first quarter. Nothing until the fourth quarter. And then they had to score 17 to tie the game. And then nobody could get anything done in overtime. The Texans put up 10 in the second quarter, 10 in the third quarter. I mean, you want to talk about erratic versus erratic, That's best I got. I mean, that's the best I can tell you. Next one, Saints at Falcons. Here's what I'll say: the Saints come back to win the game. It was kind of back forth. You know, I mean, like the Falcons were actually really good for the majority of the game, and the Saints resiliently came back. Okay, like the Saints put up a touchdown in the first quarter, but then the Falcons dropped fucking 13 in the second quarter and only scored a field goal in the first quarter. So they were up fucking 16 goddamn points by halftime. The Saints could only put up a field goal in the third quarter. The Falcons put up another 7 in the third quarter, but then the Saints came back, dropped 14 or 17 in the fourth quarter, and the Falcons could only pull 3, ending up 27-26, Saints winning. So good on the Saints for some resiliency and some really good playmaking in the fourth quarter. But there is hope, a little glimmer of hope for the Falcons, because that was a really resilient play against a pretty decent defense. Not amazing, but decent. Next game, Ravens at Jets. I mean, come on, dude. Does anybody really expect anything amazing out of the Jets? Let's be honest here. Come on. The Jets are a fucking hot, steaming dumpster fire filled with poop. Okay? And I'm not trying to bash on the team, but that team is just so fucking out of sorts. Like, I was really hoping last season, and even coming into this season, like Robert Saleh was really going to sort that team out. I think with the ownership and the way their draft capital is and so on, I have loads of questions about the Jets. They're just a mess. The Ravens came in, did exactly what I expect them to do. They won 24-9. Jaguars at Commanders. Now, this was one I was really curious about because Doug Peterson coming in for the Jaguars, giving Trevor Lawrence really much more of an offensive mind that wasn't such a jackass at head coach like Urban Meyer was, really kind of settling the team and putting them in a more NFL scheme instead of this random ass, we're just going to do what we want and kick and hit players and threaten to fire everybody all the time because Urban Meyer was a fucking joke. I will say that there is a massive glimmer of hope. Although the Jaguars lost, as in a game I was trying to click on, stupid. The Jaguars did lose. They showed the potential of trying to come back, okay? Like, the Commanders put up a touchdown in the first quarter, touchdown in the second quarter, a goose egg in the third quarter, and then 14 points in the fourth quarter. That was the Commanders. The Jaguars dropped a field goal in the first quarter, a goose egg in the second quarter, 9 points in the third quarter, and 10 points in the fourth. Ending the game, Commanders winning 28-22 over the Jags. But the Jags at least showed life in the second half. And if they can maintain some stability in the first half and then remain a second half team, that's actually going to serve them pretty well and throughout the rest of the season. So we've covered 2 of my favorite teams, being the Steelers and the Saints. Both won. This next one, not so much. The Packers at the Vikings. Now, I said that the fucking Vikings getting a new coach, you know, something of more of a support system for fucking Kirk Cousins, because I don't think Kirk Cousins is an amazing talent, but I think he's good enough. You know, he is more than good enough. I think he is more than a game manager, but not quite an elite superstar. He's a good quarterback, right? So that being said, you got the Vikings who have cinched up a whole bunch of shit, and you've got the Packers with a couple of guys that have been on the team, and then mostly a completely rebooted receiving corps, because like all of their good playmakers, except for I think Lazard, just left. You know, they just fucking said, "See ya, bro." You know, so I mean, you know, you got like A.J. Dillon, Romeo Doubs, Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan's in there. Christian Watson, Josiah DeGara, Aaron Jones, Sammy Watkins is there, Juwan Winfrey, Randall Cobb, but I mean Randall Cobb's Randall Cobb, you know, and then Tyler Davis. That's everybody who got a ball thrown at him. I mean, damn. The game went so bad that they literally stuck Jordan Love in because it was already lost. Packers lost 7-23 to the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers was 22 of 34 for 195 yards and a pick. Not even a touchdown, just fucking pick. Okay? It was just rough. Now, the one mild bit of question is, considering the overall lack of play from the Packers. Sorry, my allergies are nuts right now. Considering the overall lack of productivity as far as offensive receiving play, their running game wasn't too bad. They were right near the 100 mark. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Yeah, they were just over 100 yards between 4 guys. And then Aaron Rodgers losing a yard. So, I guess it really comes down to the fact that they couldn't get really anything going on the passing game, yet the Vikings still gave up over 100 yards on the ground. It's a little mild piece of concern for the Vikings defense. That's about it. Otherwise, Packers literally just dropped a fat-ass goose egg for their fucking opening day. And Aaron Rodgers politely called out his fucking receiving core, but this is his problem too, okay? One thing, I agree with quite a few analysts about this. Aaron Rodgers has a really bad habit of doing one thing consistently, okay? And no, it's not being an MVP. He's a phenom of a fucking quarterback, has been for a long time, but he's got trust issues, right? He's got lots of trust issues with guys who drop balls and guys who don't run routes properly. And he did, man, I went back and watched the highlight reels, like 3 different highlight reels on this game, which was pathetic to call it a highlight reel, because it should have just been the Minnesota Vikings highlight reel and the Packers dumpster fire. It's like he just kept peeling away from guys. Like if they dropped a ball once or twice, he just wouldn't throw to him again, or he wouldn't go to him until he had no other choice. And he's kind of known for doing that. Like Davante Adams being the sure hands that he had was the one guarantee. There was one guy who just almost never dropped passes for him. So it was just like he had that to count on. So there's that. So the Giants at the Titans, as much as I want to give the Giants credit, yes, Saquon Barkley absolutely fucking balled out on the Titans, okay? But that's really about as good as the Giants game really was. They had okay defense. I mean, they only allowed the Titans to score, fucking 20 points, so that's good. And obviously, going up against the Titans, offense, they're not usually an extremely high-scoring team. So if you can hold them to 20, that's not bad. But really, in my opinion, what this comes down to is the Titans' piss-poor defense. Oh my God, to let the fucking Giants actually come, just fucking literally just stomp you on the ground like that. Let's see here, okay? Just Saquon Barkley. 118 carries for 164 fucking yards. Daniel Jones was 17 of 21 for 188 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Saquon Barkley was 18 of 164 for 1 touchdown. So their entirety of their game, like their running back had almost as many yards as their quarterback. Okay, I mean, like seriously. The fucking Titans, Tannehill was 20 of 33 for 266 and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry didn't even bust 90 yards. He had 21 carries for 82 yards with an average of 3.9. That speaks leaps and bounds as to at least what the Giants were being honest to the fucking run. I'll give you that. So, god damn. But yeah, I mean, like, the scoring went as followed. Giants, nothing in the first, nothing in the second, 13 points in the third, and 8 in the fourth. Okay? The Titans, 7 in the first, 6 in the second, 7 in the third, nothing in the fourth. Like, how do you let them come back? You're up 13 to nothing at half, and then you give up 13 in the third and only score a touchdown, and then you can't even get a fucking point on the board in the fourth? Come on, man. Come on. Tennessee, Mike Vrabel, what are you guys doing, man? A game I had interest in just because it's the division of the Kansas City Chiefs, Raiders at Chargers. Now, I'm a little high on the Raiders. A lot of people are not. After watching this game, there's 2 things that I've walked away from on this, okay? For one, the Chargers are exactly what I expected them to be. Solid, right? Very solid. With adding Khalil Mack in there, oh my sweet Jesus, that fucking Chargers defense is solid as fuck. So the fact that you've got one of the Bosas, And now you've got Khalil Mack. Like, bruh. that's a very solid defensive line. That being said, I've got a huge question mark on the Raiders' offensive line. Because yes, you're going against Bosa and you're going against, Khalil Mack. But at the same time, there was so much pressure in Derek Carr's face most of that game. And the one thing that makes Derek Carr look like shit, he's just like Tom Brady. If you can get in his face, you get in his head. And once you're in his head, he plays like ass. That's been the story of Tom Brady's career, his entire career. And he's an amazing quarterback. And no, I'm not trying to make a comparison of Derek Carr to Tom Brady, because Derek Carr, I don't even think has won a fucking playoff game. To where, you've got 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady. Very big difference. But they have a very similar scheme as far as they're very comfortable in their own skin until you get up in their fucking grill, and then all of a sudden it's like, they get real nervous Nancy and they start doing dumb shit. And boy, did Derek Carr do some dumb shit. He threw 3 fucking picks. Holy fuck. He had so much pressure in his face, though. Now, that being said, they had some serious glimmers of hope in this game. Being down with 3 fucking turnovers, 3 interceptions. I think there was actually a fumble in there too. This game ended Chargers 24, Raiders 19. And it really just came down to not being able to continue their final drive and just handing the ball back over and just good night, That's really what it was. Because what killed him is them going for a 2-point, trying to get a 3-point game. Because, at that point, it's like, okay, I get you're trying to get it to a field goal, but at the same time, if you're finally getting a ray of sunshine, you might actually just stick with your guns. Stick to your guns. You're finally getting a little fucking momentum, and then the momentum just fell the fuck apart with that 2-point conversion. Epic fail just didn't happen for the Rams, or the Raiders. I mean, it is what it is. I still hold out hope that if they can cinch up that offensive line a little bit, they've got a chance to be pretty solid. But right now, the Chargers look pretty good. They bullied the shit out of the fucking Raiders offense. They absolutely did. And the Chargers offense, I don't even want to overlook that, because they looked great. Now, I believe Keenan Allen ended up with an injury, but it didn't even seem to matter. It is what it is. My final personal game of interest, the Chiefs at the Cardinals. What a fucking shellacking. I mean, what a fucking beatdown. Now, granted, has there been a lot of question marks about the Arizona Cardinals? Yes, there has. Has there been a lot of question marks as far as, how good are they going to really be coming in game plan? Are they going to come into the season looking like they did the tail end of last season, just crumbling and falling apart? And yeah, that's kind of what they did. But they still had little spurts of the Cardinals of early last year. Like, they had some good plays in there. They really did. But Kyler Murray looked rattled. The Chiefs defense was just all over them. I mean, all over them. They gave up a few runs here and there. But, I mean, like, hell, let's just look at some stats here, okay? Kyler Murray, before they finally just pulled him because it was just terrible, he was 22 at 34. Not bad. 193 yards. Not great. 2 touchdowns. Not bad, right? I mean, they were basically right around the 100-yard mark. Between Dortch, which I didn't even remember who the hell that dude was, and Marquise Brown alone, they had over 100 fucking yards and 106 fucking yards with 2 receivers. So, I mean, they didn't do bad. They just could not keep up with the Chiefs. The big question mark that a lot of people have had is, are the Chiefs going to be the team before without Tyreek Hill? Oh, the fucking hell, yeah, they will. They fucking scorched the Arizona defense. And that Arizona defense is not really much of a slouch-ass defense. If anything, the Arizona defense is actually pretty solid for the most part. And I mean, it was like they had no idea where the ball was going, because without Tyreek out there, the only guy you know for sure is going to get the fucking ball is going to be Kelce, right? Like, Travis Kelce is guaranteed you're going to get the ball. Okay. Here's the hiccup, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Isaiah Pacheco, rookie. 7th round rookie, by the way. 12 carries for 62 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 7 carries for 42 yards. Jerick McKinnon, 4 carries for 22 yards. Patrick Mahomes, 3 carries for 5 yards. Then they had a busted up jet sweep that was a -3 for MVS, but whatever. But Jesus Christ, okay? If you want to talk about bonkers, all right? Travis Kelce, 8 for 121. Juju Smith-Schuster, 6 for 79. And that's including the fact that he fumbled the fucking ball twice. He had 2 punch-out fumbles. MVS, Marquez Van... oh my God, I can't ever say this dude's name. Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Okay, I'm just going to call him MVS. Y'all get over it. 4 catches for 44. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 3 for 32. Sky Moore, 1 for 30. Jerick McKinnon, 3 for 27. Mecole Hardman, 3 for 16. And by the way, he got a touchdown in the mix of that and missed 3 fucking throws that were either overthrows that I think he probably, like one of them, he could have just leapt out and stretched out and caught, and he just didn't put the effort in. I really want to see Mecole Hardman, survive past this season because I think there's a lot of talent to that kid, but I also think that he's just not given 100%. It's tough to say, but it is what it is. Such is the football life. Noah Gray, 1 for 10. Jody Fortson, thank you. Jesus, he's back. 1 for 1, but that 1 yard was a touchdown. Thank you, Jody Fortson, you beautiful bastard. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fucking players. 9 goddamn receivers. It was usually, hey, occasionally we're going to throw it to somebody else, but it's usually going to be Tyreek and fucking Travis Kelce. Now, y'all better watch the fuck out. You don't know where this ball's going. Because, basically anybody who's an eligible receiver has a chance at the ball, and good luck figuring out who the fuck that is for that scheme. Everybody talking their shit about how the Chiefs are going to look. They look good enough that they pulled fucking Mahomes and stuck Chad Henne in there. And then didn't even fucking pass the ball with Henne. They just had a handoff. Mahomes was 30 of 39 for 360 yards and 5 touchdowns. Okay, I think the Chiefs are just fine right now. Now, is there going to be growing pains with the new roster? Sure. But right now, even though Trey Smith got injured, Allegretti stepped in, did just fine. Trey Smith, I believe, had an ankle injury. Justin Watson had an injury. Harrison Butker, their kicker, obviously rolled his ankle on the fucking kickoff. And Justin Reed, the safety, stepped in as a field goal kicker for a couple of kicks, nailed one, missed one. And Butker came in on a short hop step, weird, funky looking 54-yard fucking field goal that was good. And then Justin Reed was doing the kickoffs the entire game, and that dude's got a cannon for a leg. So, yeah, that's amazing. I don't think we would have seen Honey Badger in there for kicking balls. All right, just putting it out there. Oh my God. So, I'm feeling good about the Kansas City Chiefs right now. I really am. Arizona Cardinals. Oh man, they got work to do. They got to get Kyler Murray calm fuck down, because if they don't, this season's toast. I know it's week 1. Not too much to read into it. Everybody's got their growing pains. Everybody's got their shit they got to work out. But this is basically exactly what the Arizona Cardinals look like in the last 7 games of last year. Just shaky, rattled. Defense was okay, but then fell the fuck apart. Couldn't keep their coverages right. The thing that killed me the most, okay, honestly, before I move on to the last 2 games, is that they blitzed 66% of the plays. Okay? That being said, the Chiefs ran 66 fucking plays, and they had 33 first downs, I think, is what the number was. Let me look at that, because I want to 100% be right on that, okay? Stats. Yeah. 33 first downs. 5 of 8 on third downs, 1 of 1 on fourth downs. Total plays 66. 2 punts, 3 penalties for 25 yards. That's good. 1 fumble lost. And the time of possession was Chiefs 34-42 compared to the Cardinals 25-18. Cardinals got a lot of work to do. They just really do. They gave up 360 passing yards and 128 rushing yards. Chiefs averaged 7.4 yards a play. The fucking Cardinals had 179 passing yards and 103 rushing yards, averaging 4.5 yards a play. That's a big problem. And they only had 18 first downs, and their third down efficiency was 3 of 12. Ouch. No bueno. So the last two games. And you got to preface both of these in a very interesting fashion, okay? Buccaneers beat the Cowboys. And by the way, like I said, Chiefs beat the Cardinals 44-21. Ouch. Buccaneers at Cowboys. I assumed that the Buccaneers were going to win this game anyway. Tom Brady doesn't like losing opening day games as it is, much less I don't think he's ever actually lost to the Cowboys, if I remember correctly. Could be incorrect about that, but I believe that's an actual stat. Sunday night football game, Bucks beat Cowboys 19-9. Okay, now Dak Prescott injured, but they looked like shit before Prescott was out. They just look stagnant as fuck. I don't think anybody knows who the primary receiver is, because it certainly is not going to be Lamb. I mean, like, they were just blanket covering the fuck out of that poor bastard. And they just looked out of sorts in every way. The Buccaneers just had to play. They just had to put some points up and they were going to win this game. Then Prescott gets injured and it just went to hell in a handbasket from there. So, yeah, no bueno. Cowboys are going to have a very long season indeed. Right now, they are falling into the negative, not in any kind of positive. That was a terrible game by the Cowboys. And just an okay starting game for the Buccaneers. Nothing phenomenal about that game whatsoever for the Buccaneers, aside from it's a check markup win for the season. That's it. Final game, Broncos at Seahawks. Bro, you're going against a questionable defense, a questionable offensive line, and a quarterback in Geno Smith, who is just not really known for being the most reliable dude. Okay, like, he's not a terrible player, but he's not a great quarterback. Okay, he's not ever going to be known as an elite quarterback, unless just all of a sudden he takes this completely fucked up, half-assed, band-aided fucking team to the Super Bowl. Nobody is going to carry Geno Smith around as a long-term, hey man, this guy was amazing kind of mentality. And you're going to take the roster of the fucking Denver Broncos, okay, which I said it last year that the Broncos had a very good roster with a piss-poor quarterback. They bring in a really good quarterback, which is the Seahawks' old quarterback, by the way, Russell Wilson, who everybody is raving that the fucking Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West. It's either that or it's going to be the Chargers, right? The Chargers didn't put up 44 against a pretty okay team, you know? They put up, what, 24? Okay. All right. Cool story, bro. The Raiders couldn't even bust 20 against a division rival in that game, only doing 19. The Broncos lost to the Seahawks 16-17. The Seahawks defense was the star of this game. Russell Wilson looked stagnant as shit, and it came down to that offensive line just fell the fuck apart. They had blanket coverage all over the Denver Bronco receivers and tight ends. There was just not a ton for Russell Wilson to do there. Even buying time, not a ton for him to do. So very, very questionable game as to how in the fuck the Denver Broncos fucked this up to lose this game. This should have been a shoe-in game. And that Seahawks defense literally stepped the fuck up when it mattered the most and made the plays they had to make to keep the game close. And the Seahawks just had to put just enough up to keep the Broncos out of reach. And the Broncos tried. They did try, but they just didn't have enough to get it done. So that's week 1 of 2022 NFL season. Thus far, my 4 favorites. Okay? Steelers, Saints, Packers, Chiefs. Quick overview. Steelers, if they don't make a change at quarterback or get Trubisky to actually get out of his own fucking way, the Steelers are going to have a very long season because they cannot withstand a bunch of injuries and then expect Trubisky to carry that team. It's just not going to happen. TJ Watt not being in the lineup because I think they said he had a pectoral tear or some sort of tear in his chest, which would be his pec. But he had some sort of pectoral injury or chest injury of some sort, and I haven't heard any news to the contrary as to what it is. But that is a huge piece of their frontline defense. It really is. Now, their secondary looks great. Okay, it really does. It's not amazing, but it looked pretty fucking good. Looked good enough. Look good enough to hold their own. But if their offense can't get more productive, man, because like they can't afford for Najee Harris to be out, because Trubisky sure as hell cannot carry this team. Okay, he just can't. Saints. I don't know where the Saints are at right now. I really don't. Like, I mean, if you look at the statistics of the Saints game, it was nothing to write home about offensively, okay? Jameis Winston was 22 of 34 for 269 yards, or 23 of 34 for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know, Taysom Hill rushed the ball 4 times for 81 yards. What? Like, what? But it was only 4 carries. So it's, you know, an average of 20.2 yards per carry. Okay. Not mad at that. Alvin Kamara only had 9 carries for 39 yards, and that's not great. Mark Ingram Jr., 4 carries for 22. I mean, what? Jameis Winston had 2 rushes for 9 yards. Like Jarvis Landry had 114 fucking yards. Michael Thomas had 57. I mean, I don't know where this team is at right now. They allowed Marcus Mariota to pop 20 of 33 for 215 yards. Granted, no touchdowns. But god damn, did they get the ball run up their fucking ass throughout this game. I don't know where the Saints are at. The Packers, same fucking thing, okay? Between the offensive line not being really amazing and their receiving core is the most suspect part of this fucking team, to say the absolute least, much less their secondary. I don't know where in the hell the fucking Packers sit at this point, okay? They're a mess. The Chiefs, being my final of the 4, bro, if they can maintain this mix and match, you have no idea chess game where the fuck this ball is going to go to kind of gameplay, and the defense stays as stout as it was in this last game. Granted, they've got a few injuries, so that's going to be kind of a little bit of a question mark, but nothing looks major at this point. So we should be okay. This may be a very, very interesting season indeed. That a lot of doubters may be, you know, applying foot in mouth and removing head out of ass. I don't know though. Again, not going to speculate because this is week 1. This could have just been the Cardinals just sucked this year and the Chiefs just blew them out of the fucking water like they should have. But, I mean, after that game, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of blitzing going on against the Chiefs. Because the one thing Mahomes is really good at is just destroying teams that blitz him. So, but their next test is going to be the Chargers. Now, granted, they get their home opener against the Chargers on Thursday night primetime football on Amazon Prime, funny enough. And I got to tell you, that's an interesting matchup. The Chiefs' offensive line is pretty fucking good. But the Chargers' defensive line is pretty fucking good too. The Chargers' secondary, a little questionable. Their linebackers, a little questionable. But man, that front end is good. If they can get in Mahomes' face quickly and disrupt the fuck out of him, it's going to make for a very long game for Patrick Mahomes. On the other side of it, the Chiefs linebackers are not so meh. They're actually pretty fucking good. The Chiefs front line, especially with the addition of Furious George up there with Frank Clark and Chris Jones, they look really good. And the safeties and corners are actually looking pretty good. Now, against something a little bit more formidable like the Chargers is really going to be a good test to see exactly where the secondary's at, and I'm very curious. It's win or lose. I'm curious to see where they're going. So that's it for week 1 breakdown. Not trying to do over speculation or wild thoughts or anything, just kind of breaking down exactly what it is and where everything's at. So, and really not scripting it. I'm not trying to do like I did last year and just be like, this is what they did. Here are the thoughts that I typed out. Blah, blah, blah. I put like, just for example, Broncos, terrible pass protection, great Seahawks D. That was all I typed. Everything else, out of my nugget. So that's it. So yeah, y'all let me know if you think this is better than me trying to type out my own notes and then read it like a fucking robot. So I don't know. But this is where we're at this point. I think this is a very, very interesting week one. Whole lot of games that I didn't expect going the way they did, and a bunch of injuries in weird places, and teams not looking like I was figuring they were going to look at all. So I don't know. So yeah, we'll catch you next week. All right.